preview speakers because I don't need that anymore. they covered every bit of it. I want to go back 15 years. Old people love to go back 15 years. Remember. Dave Smith. Dave Smith was the president of the village council when I joined 15 years ago. And the very first thing he said, and shows you how smart I was, he said, what we have to do is develop and start a community service building where it can be one-stop shopping for people that need help. And honest to God, I plead guilty. I had no idea what that man was talking about. I had never heard of it. I grew up in a suburb of Chicago. We never had those problems. And honestly, most of the board did not know what that man talked about. And individually and by himself put this whole thing in the beginning under the auspices of the village council. Made the contacts at the county. The first people that was in our building that we are in today, we had to rehab that building, was the Catholic Church, Arizona Youth Partnership. We had the food bank, we had the clothing bank. Food and clothing bank was in a, we called it the dungeon. Let's stop there. You didn't dare go in the summer and you didn't dare go in the winter. So the only person I want to point out to you is Dave Smith, who's not here today, moved from Catalina a couple years later with his wife, Linda. That's the man that started this thing. And it was his vision that got it going. And he was lucky enough to have some dumb guy from Philadelphia that knew nothing about it, that said, sounds like a good idea to me, and we were off and running. Additionally, you people are on our team. Do you know that? You belong to this building, to the Catalina Community Services, because one way or another, you have contributed. When we started on this building, and one thing we said was we want this to be a community building. And I want to give praise to the architect, to the construction guys that did this building, because every meeting we had, every week, one of the things they talked about when they ran into a problem, the question they always asked, is it good for the community? And if it wasn't good for the community, they didn't do it. And if it was good for the community, they did do it. Heather Jones, the only one I'll tell you, the architect, designed all the color. Isn't it wonderful? We don't have a blah building, we have a colorful building. We are a community building. The last message I want to give you is, hooray, this is fantastic today. What are we going to do tomorrow? And we built this on the premise, if all we were going to do was still have a clothing bank and a food bank and what we're doing now, we don't need a new building. We could have continued doing it where we were. But we wanted a new building because there's so much more to be done. And to get that done, here's the people that's going to make it happen. It isn't going to be me. It isn't going to be Ann Day. It's not going to be Pat Kavanaugh. It's going to be the community again that has to come forward and say, we're here to help you. Tell us what you need. And that's why we're successful today. We've gone to the community. We've gone to the county and said, we need help. I don't know how many times we've called Pat Kavanaugh and Ann Day and said, we need help. We were $500,000 short. Called Pat Kavanaugh, talked to Ann Day, and 3 weeks later, we had that $500,000. Thank you, Ann Day. That's faithfulness. So when you leave here today, come back to us and tell us what you want to help us do in the future, because there's so much more we need to do. Our community, by the way, is not just Catalina. We serve from Oro Valley up through Saddlebrook. There are people all over that need help. And if we can help them, that's what we're here to do. Thank you.